From the very first moment, the defendant sets the stage with audacious claims of canceling his U.S. license 13 years ago and presenting an international driving permit. The courtroom immediately feels tense as the judge navigates the murky waters of legal sovereignty and alternate nationality, teasing the audience with a high-stakes debate that's as unusual as it is gripping.
You got a ticket for no valid operator's license, no license in possession, and I don't think you can actually be convicted of both of those. It's either or, and no proof of insurance. Mr. Marvin said he spoke with you. You don't wish to enter a plea of guilty, which is your right, but you don't wish me to appoint an attorney. Can we just set this for a bench trial?
Or have it's either that or a jury trial, is that what you're saying?
Yes. You have a right to have well, let me ask you this. You don't want me to appoint an attorney. Do you wish to hire one?
No, I really don't even want to contract with the Crown Corporation here. This has really turned into a religious persecution issue because, and I'm sure you can see, I canceled that driver's license 13 years ago because I didn't want to have that contract any longer. And I wanted to get out of that system and be completely separate. So I went with a different government altogether, with a different issuing authority. And I have documentation in the form of an international driving permit, which Mr. Marvin acknowledged he is aware of because he said he used to have one. So he knows about them, and that's what I had when I presented it to the officer. For whatever reason, the officer thinks it's not valid or that it's fraudulent, and that is his choice to decide that. But the charge of not having any driver's license on me is not true because I did have it on me.
Do you have it with you today?
No, he has it.
Who has it?
The officer, Officer Brooks, who took it from me. I have an international driving permit and a passport that was issued by a different governing authority than the United States. And for whatever reason, they're choosing not to acknowledge it. But it already has been.
Well, that's an interesting defense. Now, we've been struggling with international driver's licenses. And for one issue, you have to be in the country legally. So we've got a number of Mexican people that have Mexican driver's license from Michoacan or Jalisco or one of the Mexican states. But if they're not here legally, it doesn't matter. You're obviously here legally. You were born a citizen. You may have.
I have changed my nationality is what I've done.
Where's your passport from?
It's issued by the government of the United States of America. It's not a blue passport. It's a different colored passport than that. Mr. Marvin says that there's no such thing as that, and that's fine if he wants to choose to do that. But I have had no issue. I have had no issue from anyone or anything using that. Granted, I have not gone out of the country with that yet. I have not had the means to do so.
Yeah, good luck.
But
you go out, good luck trying to get back in. My advice.
Here, the first real clash unfolds. The judge questions the validity of international documents while the defendant asserts his autonomy. The tension rises as complex legal and contractual claims collide with standard law. It's a fascinating look at how the courtroom grapples with unconventional defenses, keeping viewers on edge and questioning what counts as legitimate legal identity.
Don't do that. Mm-hmm. You'll be a man with no country. So don't leave the country, but you're here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, according to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, I have a right to change my nationality, and the Crown Corporation here is trying to deny me that nationality, which really falls under a religious persecution issue here, because I don't want to have any more dealings with the Crown Corporation, and so
I don't know what
Never.
universe you're from, but there is no Crown Corporation. This is the state of Michigan. And in the state of Michigan, you have to have a driver's license. You may have one. Your operator's license, you're right, is canceled. I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
I cut it up and I sent it back to the Secretary of State 13 years ago. I did not want to have that contract any longer.
But you got convicted in Niles in 2019 of no ops. You failed to appear. They defaulted you, I guess. But yeah, they've got your old driver's license picture in here. But yeah, you don't have a bad driving record. There's no speeding, seatbelt.
I'm not a bad guy. I just want to get around differently.
You were here on May 11th.
Correct.
And you wanted the complaint dismissed. You told me that you had an license canceled and lien. So I set up for the pretrial, which is what we just did. All right. Now I got a concern that the officer has your license.
Yeah, he still has it. He doesn't, I don't know why he hasn't given it back to me yet.
Well, I want to see it. All right. So Mr. Marvin says we haven't reached a settlement. You believe you have a defense. You don't want to have an attorney. So the question becomes, we set it for a trial. And do we set it for a trial in front of the judge, or do you wish to have a jury come in and hear this?
I want to just plain have it settled, and whether it's with him and you.
Well, I don't have the authority to settle it. He does. I can set it for what's called a last pretrial before jury trial. And I will get your international. This may be more of a legal issue than a factual issue. You were driving in the state of Michigan, and you don't have a Michigan driver's license. But you may have a valid international license. I don't know. There's no. Now the prosecutor has the police report. I don't.
The other thing that
the suspense deepens as the defendant introduces contracts, alternate universes, and international legality. The judge balances patience with firmness, evaluating whether these claims hold merit. This segment highlights the drama of courtroom procedure when reality and self-defined rules collide, leaving viewers intrigued about whether the defense can survive scrutiny or collapse under legal pressure.
I failed to mention was that I was also under contract while I was driving that. I was under a legal contract. And obviously that contract was impaired while I was trying to fulfill the obligations of that contract.
That's alternate universe stuff. There's no contract. The issue is,
I mean the owner of the vehicle. I had a contract with the owner of the vehicle. I was under contract to perform some services for the owner of the vehicle.
Oh, okay. So, all right, that may be so.
Right.
But then you may need a CDL to do that.
Your Honor,
Yes?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked at that statute in like years, but doesn't an international license have to have a prerequisite of a valid license from some place before you can apply for that international
Well,
And I had a national one too as well.
so I don't know.
license? I believe that's
we've
a
been-
prerequisite, but I
All
don't
right,
know.
well,
I
it
could
may be,
wrong.
but we've got a legal issue, and
Yeah.
I don't even. He's got a
I
theory
understand.
that may have no basis or may have some basis.
It's
We have
interesting.
recently had a man from India who tried to do everything right.
Right, I remember him.
And it's so cumbersome and difficult. And he was living here. He had a driver's license from India. He got an international driver's license. Or he had a New York license, and somewhere he forgot to dot an I or cross a T. All right, I'm gonna set this for a last pretrial, but I need,
And what does that mean?
means we're gonna take one more effort at resolving this thing, but I
Okay.
need to see your evidence.
Okay. Well, I can tell you the Officer Brooks, he's the one that has it.
All right. An attorney could help you with the legal issues on this. You don't wish to have
No,
one?
I have other representation.
All right, let's assume for the minute that your argument has got some merit, that you've got some passport and an international driver's license. That, maybe that's enough, but it usually presumes that you have a valid license somewhere else.
Mhm.
So they didn't take your passport too, did they? Took your
Mhm.
passport and,
Mhm.
all right, I'm gonna set this for last.
The judge asserts authority, explaining jury versus bench trial options and clarifying the burden of proof. The defendant refuses counsel, heightening tension, while procedural strategy takes center stage. This is the moment where courtroom dynamics shine. Observers witness authority, defiance, and strategy intersect, making every exchange a delicate dance between law, logic, and eccentric claims.
Last pre-trial, 2 weeks from now. For June 29th. At 3 o'clock. Does that interfere with your work schedule?
No, I'm self-employed.
Okay. They charge this on the ticket. You're also alleged to have no proof of insurance, which is a civil infraction.
The insurance was there. It was not on the car, in the car at the time.
All right.
A simple phone call to the insurance agency will prove that it was
All right.
in existence.
Well, there's two different kinds of offenses. One is not having insurance. That's a 1-year misdemeanor, carries a minimum $200 fine. The other one is not having the slip in the car.
Right.
So if you can prove that so that's what the charge is. It isn't that you didn't have an insurance, you didn't have it in the car.
Yeah.
So if you got it, bring with you your proof of insurance.
Right.
For that date.
Right.
All right, we'll try another shot at this. When you were here at your arraignment in May, you were very polite and respectful, and we don't agree on things, but let's take a closer look before I jump to any conclusions.
And I'll have a lot more evidence at that time. Yeah.
And if it can be resolved, great. If it can't be, the question at that point will be, do we have a jury trial or do we have a bench trial? And one of the things about people like you that want to check out of our government and our system, they don't mind bringing in 30 of their fellow citizens to come in and hear their thing. The irony is, if I sent you a jury notice, you wouldn't show up. You would say, I don't contract with you and I won't participate in your system. But you don't have any compunction about dragging 30 other people in here to hear your case. So at this point, we haven't gotten that far.
Can we just decide that in 2 weeks?
Yes,
Okay.
certainly. So let's see. I want to get those documents from the sheriff's department and take a look at them.
Okay.
There may need to be some legal research done as well.
Finally, we reach a cliffhanger with unresolved issues. Missing proof of insurance, seized documents, and a last pre-trial date. Suspense peaks as questions linger about the international license and passport validity. This segment leaves viewers on the edge, curious whether the defendant's bold strategy will hold or unravel, setting the stage perfectly for the next chapter in this courtroom saga. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next video.
But you're putting the burden on them, which is how it sort of works.
Yeah.
They have the burden of proving it beyond a reasonable doubt. So you raise this defense and say, prove it's not right. Well, that isn't exactly how it works. You've got to show there's some merit to the defense. Key West used to offer passports to the Conch Republic. There was a little place there, and you could get a Conch Republic passport, and it looked like a real passport. And they shut them down. People were using them in other countries to show they had a Conch Republic quasi-American passport.
Mhm.
So there's all kinds of screwy passports out there.
And I understand that there's nefarious people who want to do things for nefarious purposes, and that's not me. I don't want to do anything for nefarious or evil purposes. I'm trying to be upright and righteous here in what I'm doing. And I'm just simply wanting to be separate according to my religious beliefs. And that's all this really boils down to.
All right. Well, one option is don't drive a car. If you don't want to participate in it and you want to opt out of our system, don't drive. Have somebody else drive you or stay in one place. But if you want to use our public roadways and share the road with other people that are licensed, you can't just decide I live in an alternate universe and I don't have to obey the same rules that everybody else does. So one option is don't drive. And then you won't have to worry about it. But we'll see what we can figure out. We'll take another crack at this June 29th at 3 p.m. here, and I'll get those documents. If you have proof of insurance, bring it with you.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you then.
Okay.
Thank you.
And a side note, what happened with the sovereign?
He claims that he has an international driver's license and a passport, and that Deputy Brooks seized them.
Yeah, he did, because
Well, I said, I'd like to see them.
Mhm.
And so I set him for a final pretrial on June 29th.
I was told, I haven't seen them. They're available to me, and this week, tomorrow, I'm gonna go look at them. I was told they're counterfeit.
Well, that may be so. I'd like to see them. He claims that he has an international driver's license and a passport. And we discussed whether he wanted a bench trial or a jury trial. He was leaning toward jury.
Yes,
And then I said, that's ironic that if you got a jury summons, you wouldn't show up, but you don't have any compunction about bringing all these people in here. And he said, well, can we discuss that at the last pretrial? The no proof of insurance. He said, yeah, I didn't have it in the car. I said, well, that's what the charge is. It's not that you didn't have it in the car. So that case is a civil infraction. He's not entitled to counsel or jury. But yeah, I'd like to see those documents and have you, if you believe they're counterfeit, we can
I
discuss
do,
that.
but I haven't seen them with my own eyes, and I'd like to run them past somebody. And I did say that if I find out they are counterfeit, this is not gonna be in this court. He's gonna have a big problem.
Okay.